coming out in regards to the preparations and ultimately even that date, October 17th. Let me introduce them. Starting from my extreme right, Ndindi Nyoro, Kiharu Member of Parliament. We also have Dan Manzo, who's also a Member of Parliament for Makueni. Thank you very much for joining us, gentlemen. So, Ndindi, I want to start with you because I asked, and you were here when I was asking my colleague Duncan Haimba, what really is the issue that Jubilee has with this new team? Raphael Tuju said that, you know, they believe, and the sources that they have told them that these people are partisan. But how do you qualify that somebody is partisan? What are you looking at?
Betty, part of the political process is definitely transparency. And transparency is speaking your heart without any pretense. We have done our research on the said individuals. And by the time we are forwarding them to IEBC, we as Jubilee, we know exactly the reasons why. But of course, I've had several comments, left, right, and center about profiling. There is nothing about profiling, especially in terms of ethnic lines. If you look at that list that we sent as Jubilee, there is everyone there, including Akikuyu. So definitely, it is a matter of our research, and we know these characters and individuals, and we are just asking IEBC. IEBC is not bereft of better people. Therefore, we ask for the change because it's possible, and I'm sure there are better talents within the institution. All
right, and talking about within the institution, these are people who've actually been in the commission, working in the background.
I agree, but the longevity of their stay in IEBC cannot be a justification. We have to speak things when we see them. And the endeavor we are looking forward to, the election, is an exercise that is costing our country around 10 billion Kenya shillings. And therefore, raising issues around a few individuals really should not be construed as to mean anything. We are just focused on having a credible pool, and a pool that will not have aftermaths of issues thereafter.
All right. Dan Manzo, I mean, you've heard what he has to say, that this is not profiling, but really what qualifies that a certain individual is partisan? He's not yet told us what exactly were this, what was the framework of coming up with this final list that these people are partisan. But do you indeed buy into the idea that this is not profiling and there could be other issues that are grave enough to have this team not oversee this election?
Initially, the reason given is they thought that this were NASA-affiliated person. You have just heard him say that one of them is even their own person. But what is most important and what IEBC should do is, first of all, the commission to make a decision as a commission. And secondly, to consult the stakeholders, because the commission works with the political parties as stakeholders and the candidates as stakeholders. The candidates could be represented by the party, just like the case of Raphael Tuju representing Jubilee. And we've got our own team which has been engaging the IEBC. So they have experience, but most important, IEBC has issues with integrity of the process. And we must make sure that the process this time around is dignified, as integrity is within the law and is constitutional. Right. So we have to make sure there are no people who are going to do underhand deals and we are going to make sure that one or two things go wrong. We want people who are honest, faithful, and who will be supervised so that we can have free and fair elections.
But is it also, and I can see, Nyoro, you're really disagreeing with, to some extent, with Dan Manzo, but really, is it about the people who, are the faces or who are going to be working in this commission, or is it about the structures and, basically going to the basics of having a credible election? Is it about personalities? Is it about names? Is it about, even if it's profiling, is it about the last names of that people have? Is it about that, or is it about really the processes that are in the IEBC and really the framework and the policies that are going to be guiding this process?
I think it's the interplay of the processes and the structures, and of course the individuals and personalities involved. Their impulses, that combination have everything to do with the election. But I'm amazed when Mheshimiwa castigates Jubilee for raising issues, especially around individuals, when actually they are side of the political divide. They're the first people to come out, actually claim jobs of some of the previous commissioners, and even in this current commission, they are the first people to come and be for the blood of political blood, so to say, of one Chiropa. Therefore, it's when NASA raises an issue and we raise it, definitely, there is nothing about being partisan or profiling others. It is a matter of looking for the right way forward for justice on both sides. Because what Jubilee is looking forward to is a credible pool that will seal all the loopholes of NASA coming out again to force us to go to another exercise and another one, and the circus may never come to an end.
Let me ask, if Wafula Chebukati did not come up with this new team that is going to be leading this, he calls it, project, would you have a problem as the way things were, with Ezra Chiloba really being still at the helm of the Secretariat? Would you have had a problem with just how the IEBC was in the other election on August 8th?
Betty, for you to see how magnanimous we are as Jubilee, we are, everyone, it's out there in the public domain that even the chairman of IEBC was actually a candidate with ODM in 2007. There are actually unconfirmed rumors that he just used to be a life member of ODM just like a year ago.
Unconfirmed.
Therefore, unconfirmed. Therefore, we have no issues really with any individual, because if we had any issue with an individual that is beyond what is reasonable, definitely we would have raised such issues. Therefore, to us as Jubilee is about having a process that is beyond reproach, and having people who are like Kaisa's wife beyond reproach, because our side, we know we have the numbers. What we are looking for is credibility, and credibility cannot be delivered by institutions and structures alone. It is something to do with also the personalities that are within those structures.
All right. Mheshimiwa, do you think that he's being very honest with his statement?
First of all, you remember the president, who is the head of Jubilee, had a choice to make between Chebukati and there was another gentleman. There were two qualifications. And the president chose Chebukati personally. So they should have advised him appropriately that time. If they thought Chebukati was a life member of ODM or was going to be partisan. What could have happened is there are very many officers who let down Chebukati, even if he meant well. He had also the election consultative meeting.
If it's about this new team.
If indeed the chairman never consulted the other commissioners, then it is very unfortunate, because around perfection, even me, I believe so, that perfection does not belong to planet Earth. No one is perfect, including us in this panel. And therefore, we expect, even as we go to the rematch, that we cannot have 100% accuracy in everything. But even going back to the staff, I want to make it very clear, Betty, that we never had any issue, so to say, with evidence insofar as the CEO or the even top cream workers are concerned. But we have a major problem as Jubilee in regards to the ROs, the returning officers, especially from the NASA coalition strongholds.
Why is that?
They honestly almost sabotaged the election. They almost actually delivered all the evidence that NASA needed. Because if you are an RO, a returning officer, a presiding officer, you were taken through a training. Then elections are here, and you deliver a form that is fake, you deliver a form that bears no signature. Clearly, those individuals should carry their personal responsibility, because they are costing our country a lot of money, and they are costing our political scene a lot of instability.
All right. And we'll get to that conversation. That actually is one of the demands that NASA has, that IEBC should appoint new 290 returning officers and also gazette them. So we'll be talking about that in a few moments here on the show.